Today I have a tutorial on how to make your PowerPoint presentation as small as possible. And today I'm going to illustrate using a few examples. So I'm going to start a new layout. I'm going to just do a blank one. So the first issue I'm going to cover is images. I'm going to illustrate a couple examples. I have this image placed, and I'm going to do a few bullet points, and I have some numbers that I've created in Illustrator. I'm just going to copy these. I'm going to put some text. And I'm going to do just a few. Copy this text box. And I'm working in Mac. I'm not sure that it really makes any difference. The principles will be the same. And I'm going to save this presentation. This may be a more common pitfall among Mac users, just to drag artwork in, but we're going to see the file size difference. So I'm at 23.3 megabytes. Now I'm going to build this PowerPoint slide a little bit differently. I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to import these graphics a different way. I'm going to go Picture, from File, and then I'm going to add my icons. Instead of these, so I'm just going to insert this art using PowerPoint's built-in image library, icon library. Insert. And now I'm just going to save this so I have both versions. No, I'm going to save this as PowerPoint test. And I'm going to delete this slide. I'm going to save this as PowerPoint version 1 drag. I'm going to delete this one. I'm going to save this as PowerPoint. Just say version 2. Okay, so version 2 is a little bit smaller than version 1. But let's see what happens when I do one more thing with this. I'm going to go to pictures. This is my version 2. So I'm going to do a save as version 2B. So I go to my pictures, click on my picture, and then I go to picture format, compress pictures, and I'm going to make them emailable size. On screen, click OK, and then I'm going to save this document. This is my version 2B with my picture placed via Microsoft Tools and these built-in icons. So I'm going to save this, and you can see that that's 284 KB, so that's much smaller. Now I'm going to go to my version 1, where I just dragged my assets in from Illustrator, which would maybe be more common among Mac users to do something like that. And I'm going to go to my picture format, compress pictures. I'm going to pick on screen all pictures in this file. Okay. I'm going to do a save as version 1 drag B, save, and we'll see the difference here. 23.4, 2.9 megabytes. So the built-in version is much smaller. And the point I want to make is that as your PowerPoint presentation grows, this is going to compound. So, and the version 2, for example, will be exponentially smaller as you progress, as your slide presentation gets larger. So now I just want to see if there's a difference here. I'm going to leave up my version 1B and my version 2B. So now I'm going to go back to my original files, version 2 and version 1. I'm going to open these. And I'm going to do a full background. So I'm going to insert a new slide. And this is my version 2. So I'm going to pick it from a file. And I'm just going to do a full background on this. And my version 1 drag, I'm going to do insert a new slide. And I'm going to just drag it in. Drag it in, and I'm going to just pick a background. The same one. I'm going to save these. This is my original version 1 and my original version 2. I'm going to save these and check them. So my original version 1 is now 23.4. My original version 2 is 20.8. So really didn't change much at all. So I'm going to close these other ones. I'm going to save this as version 2C. I'm going to save this one as version 1C. And I'm just going to do the same exact procedure I did before. I'm going to compress pictures, all pictures in this file on screen. And I'm going to do the same thing here, compress pictures, all in file. I'm going to save this one, version 2C, version 1C, and I'm going to check the size. Version 1C is 3.2, version 2 is 641 KB. So you see that the one where I dragged is just going to get bigger and bigger. I actually was working on a project and I found this to be true. The file size got exponentially larger as I kept dragging in content from other sources like Illustrator, etc., and from my Mac. So I just wanted to demonstrate that in a video. And the other thing I noticed is when I did use the PowerPoint built-in tools for placing images in the background, it didn't seem to matter whether I placed the image or whether I use the format background and just made it a background fill. So I'm going to demonstrate that. I'm going to go back to 2. I'm just going to do a D. I'm just going to do a version T. I'm going to do another new slide. And this one, I'm going to use the format background. So this, I'm going to just use a picture fill, and I'm going to pick it. And I'm going to show you the difference here between, I'll save this as 2D1. And I'm going to delete these. D2. So 2D2 is just going to be that one. I'm going to save this. And 2D1. I'm going to save this. You'll be able to see that they're exactly the same. Picture fill or the background picture, they're exactly the same, and when I compress them, I'm just going to compress this and resave. Picture format, compress. This is going to be my compressed version. And I'm going to compress this one. Now I need to drag this picture in again just to make sure that all these images get compressed. And then I'm going to delete this. I'm going to save it. So this is the one with my background image. And it's 4. So they're about the same. So that's what I discovered when I was originally doing my PowerPoint presentation, is that whether I used it as a background image using the format background feature, or whether I just dragged the image and made it like a background and compressed them both, I noticed that there was really no difference. And you can see that here. 2D1, they're like exactly the same almost from here to here. Both originals were 20.7 and the other two were around 400 KB. So, and another way you could minimize the file size is if you're using masters. For example, here, view, master, slide master. And if I put the image here and I used it in a bunch of different slides, it would be even smaller. So you can do that. You could just set this background fill, picture or texture fill, and then I could insert and just use my picture, and then do my slides. So I'll delete this one. No, I'll insert a new one. So I just use that as my layout. And then if I insert a bunch more, new slide, save this. Just for fun, let's see, 2-C, 72.1. So let's see what happens when I compress them. I just dragged that just to get this feature to appear. So I'm compressing all, I'm deleting this, saving this, and then this is my 2-C. See, it's pretty small, especially when you reuse the same picture as the same background. And one other thing you could do is when you save it, and I'm going to use one of my other templates. When you save it, go to Preferences on Mac, Save, and then you can embed the fonts. You can embed using only the characters used in the presentation. That's the smallest size, but if you're going to do a collaboration with other people, you want to pick the second option here. Embed all characters, best for editing by other people, so they have control and they can edit this copy. So now I'm going to save this, having embedded my fonts. So it's -2C, -2C. It's right now it's 641, so I'm going to save it. No, it won't do it. I ran into that too. I'm gonna pick Arial or something. Just gonna copy this. It doesn't format very nicely as this particular font, but this will give you an idea. Let's see if it'll compress this. Preferences. Okay, then I just save it. Let's see if it worked. Yep, it's a little bit smaller, 3.3 megabytes. So that's another thing you can do, is pick a font that's more universally friendly between Mac and PC, and then use those settings so then when you save it, it becomes an embedded part of the file, which results in a smaller file size. So that's my tip for today, is how to minimize your PowerPoint file size. And the way I would do it just overall is to use Microsoft PowerPoint's built-in features for retrieving picture from file instead of dragging, even though it allows for that. If you do that as you go, you're going to have a much smaller file size, and it'll save you problems later when trying to reduce it for transport. And then I used Microsoft's built-in icons. If this hadn't been in the templates, I would have just used PowerPoint shapes file to draw a rectangle. And then finally, embedding the fonts will also reduce it quite a bit, especially as your PowerPoint presentation grows. So that's my tip for today, how to minimize PowerPoint file size. Thank you for watching.